The late afternoon sun cast a gentle glow through the trees, painting the quiet suburban street in shades of gold. A soft breeze rustled the leaves, offering a whispered greeting from nature. On the wide asphalt road, the sparse traffic glided past, mostly sleek, modern cars that moved almost soundlessly. Standing by the side of the road, Mrs. Sophia, an elderly woman, stared intently at her Cybertruck. She was the epitome of grace, exuding an air of elegance with every movement. Her neatly coiffed silver hair and a simple yet sophisticated dress complemented her poised demeanor. However, worry etched itself onto her refined features. One of the vehicle's tires was completely flat, leaving her stranded and unable to continue her journey. She pulled out her phone, hesitating about whether to call for roadside assistance. Cars passed her by without stopping, and the creeping sense of helplessness began to settle in. Yet, she maintained her outward composure. Further down the shaded street, Michael, a 20-year-old, pedaled his way home. His old bike creaked with each rotation of the wheels. But Michael seemed unbothered by it. He wore a simple black t-shirt, faded jeans, and worn-out sneakers. Despite his modest appearance, his eyes sparkled with determination and optimism. Today had been just another long and tiring day for Michael. He had just finished his shift at a grocery store, his hands still slightly grimy from the odd jobs he'd done throughout the day. Exhausted as he was, he carried a faint smile on his lips, a reminder to himself to keep pushing forward. As he pedaled past the Cybertruck, his gaze briefly stopped. He noticed Mrs. Sophia standing there, her face marked by concern. Something in him wouldn't let him pass by without a second thought. Mom always said, if you see someone in need, offer your help, he thought. Michael hit the brakes and leaned his bike onto its kickstand with a soft click. He walked toward Mrs. Sophia with an earnest smile. Good evening, ma'am. Do you need some help? He asked kindly. Mrs. Sophia was startled by Michael's warm voice but quickly exhaled a sigh of relief. Oh, you're my savior, she said with a hint of humor to mask her embarrassment. My tire's flat, but I have no idea how to fix it. I'm not very good with these kinds of things. Michael knelt down to inspect the tire, pulling a small repair kit from the bag attached to his bike. It's no problem, ma'am. I can take care of it. This won't take long. As Michael got to work, the two started chatting. Mrs. Sophia, curious, asked, Are you a student? You look quite young. Michael chuckled and shook his head. No, ma'am. I'm doing odd jobs to help support my family. My dream is to study engineering. But right now, money is the biggest hurdle. Mrs. Sophia nodded, her eyes softening with empathy. You're very hardworking. When I was your age, I had to take on a lot of jobs to help my family too. Engineering, though? Why that field? Michael smiled, his eyes lighting up as he spoke about his passion. I've always been curious about how things work. I want to create things that can help people. But tuition is expensive, so I've had to put my dream on hold. Michael's story touched Mrs. Sophia deeply. In the fading light of the evening, the image of this young man, with his calloused hands and hopeful heart, reminded her of her own younger self. After Michael finished fixing the tire, Mrs. Sophia offered to pay him as a thank you, but Michael shook his head. I did it because I wanted to help. Ma'am, no payment is necessary. Mrs. Sophia looked at him, thinking to herself, what a remarkable young man. She drove off, but the thought of Michael stayed with her throughout the journey home. When she arrived at her house, Mrs. Sophia picked up the phone and called her son. Elon Musk. Elon, you won't believe this. Today, I met a truly exceptional young man. He helped me fix my car and refused to take any money. But what impressed me the most was his story. Elon, busy with a multitude of tasks at Tesla, immediately paused to listen. Tell me more, he said. Intrigued, Mrs. Sophia recounted the entire encounter, emphasizing Michael's dream of studying engineering and his kindness. I think you should meet him, she concluded. He's one of a kind. Elon smiled on the other end of the line. Mom, leave it to me. I'll find him. The sun rose over the small suburban neighborhood where Michael lived. The first rays of light streamed through the old, worn window, illuminating the modest room he shared with his younger sister, Lily. Outside, the birds chirped in harmony with the clinking sounds from the kitchen, where their mother, Linda, was preparing breakfast before heading to her long shift at the hospital. Michael stirred awake, his eyes heavy from yesterday's exhaustion. But he didn't allow himself to linger. Quickly folding his blanket, he gently woke Lily to get her ready for school. At just 8 years old, Lily was already aware of the family's struggles and tried her best to help her older brother. But to Michael, she was still a child who needed protecting. Michael, I need a new pencil. Mine broke. Lily mumbled softly as she ate her breakfast. Michael glanced down at the simple meal before them. A few slices of bread and a halved apple. He smiled and ruffled her hair. Don't worry, I'll get you one after work. After dropping Lily off at school, Michael pedaled toward the grocery store where he worked. The familiar road stretched before him, every pothole and utility pole etched in his memory. His old bike creaked with every turn of the wheels, but he didn't mind. It was the only means of transportation he had. At the store, Michael did every job imaginable: stocking shelves, cleaning floors, and delivering orders to customers. His hands were calloused from the heavy labor, but his cheerful attitude never wavered. Mr. Harris, the store owner, often sighed as he watched Michael. That boy works too hard. He should be in school, not here. When his shift ended, Michael took on additional odd jobs repairing household items for neighbors. From toasters and desk lamps to old fans, he fixed them all. He didn't do it just for the money. His love for tinkering and creating fueled him. During those moments, he felt a little closer to his dream of becoming an engineer. As the sun began to set, Michael rode home with a small bag of inexpensive groceries to prepare dinner for his family. Under the warm glow of the kitchen lights, he and his mother cooked while Lily worked on her homework. Despite his exhaustion, Michael felt content knowing he was doing everything he could to keep his family from going without. Before bed, he often sat by the window, gazing at the star-filled sky, wondering if there would ever be a way out of his struggles. The dream of attending a technical university remained a faint but steady light in his mind, though he wasn't sure if he could ever make it a reality. While Michael continued his ordinary day, elsewhere, Elon Musk was busy executing a plan to find the young man his mother had spoken so highly of. Hearing Mrs. Sophia's story, Elon was struck by Michael's kindness and sincerity. He knew that if no action was taken, a talent like Michael's might go to waste. Elon called his team together. I want you to find him. Use every resource we have, he said with determined eyes. The team immediately began the search. They started with traffic cameras in the area where Mrs. Sophia had met Michael. After pinpointing the time and location, they meticulously reviewed footage until they found an image of a young man fixing a tire beside a Cybertruck. There he is, one team member said, pointing to the screen. Elon nodded but knew that identifying Michael in an image wasn't enough. Find out who he is, where he lives, and what he does. I want to know everything. The team expanded their search, tapping into social media and local community networks. They uncovered posts from residents in the area describing a young man who often helped fix household items. Some had even shared pictures of Michael with his old bike, accompanied by praise for his hard work and kindness. After a few days, Elon's team finally pinpointed Michael's address. Upon receiving the information, Elon wasted no time. Get the car ready. I want to meet him now. A Tesla rolled through the suburban streets, carrying Elon Musk and a few members of his team. When they arrived, Elon stepped out in front of the modest house where Michael lived. He observed the home for a moment, reflecting on the challenges Michael must be facing. Then he knocked on the door. Inside, Michael was repairing an old appliance for a neighbor. Hearing the knock, he wiped his hands on his jeans and went to open the door. Standing before him was Elon Musk. the man he had only seen in articles and on television. Michael froze, unable to believe his eyes. "Michael, right?" Elon said, his voice warm yet commanding. "I'm Elon Musk. My mother told me about you." Michael was speechless, finally managing to stammer. Yes, that's me. But what are you doing here?" Elon smiled. "I came to thank you, and I think I might be able to help you with something." Michael stood frozen at the door, his eyes wide as he stared at Elon Musk standing right in front of him. The globally renowned figure, whom Michael had only ever seen in articles and videos online, was now smiling at him, right outside his family's modest home. You're really Elon Musk?" Michael stammered, his voice trembling with disbelief. Elon nodded, his gaze warm but sharp. "Yes, I'm Elon. But today, I'm not here as the head of Tesla or SpaceX. I'm here because my mother told me about you." Michael was utterly confused, unsure of what to do. His mother, Linda, stepped to the door still wearing her apron, and, like her son, froze at the sight of the unexpected guest. "Oh my, Mr. Elon Musk, is something wrong?" she asked, her voice faltering. Elon offered a polite smile. "Not at all, ma'am. I'm here to thank Michael for what he did for my mother and to learn more about him." After a few moments of awkward hesitation, Michael invited Elon into the house. The small, modest living room, with its worn sofa and a small coffee table, gave Elon a glimpse of the family's humble life. However, he showed no sign of surprise, instead sitting down comfortably, putting everyone more at ease. Michael began recounting the details of that day when he had helped Mrs. Sophia with her Cybertruck. He made sure to emphasize that it was just a small act, not something that deserved such attention. But Elon listened intently, his eyes seeming to see beyond Michael's words, directly into his character. "I never thought helping a stranger could lead to something like this," Michael admitted, his voice filled with emotion. "I was just doing what my mom taught me. If you can help someone, you should." Elon nodded, his smile gentle. "Kindness isn't always recognized for the value it holds, Michael. But people like you are the reason this world still has hope." After a long conversation, Elon leaned back in his chair, his gaze sharp yet friendly as he looked directly at Michael. "Michael, I believe you have tremendous potential not just because of your kindness, but because of your determination and passion." Michael looked down, shy. "I just try to do what I can, but sometimes it feels so hard. I want to study engineering, to create things that help people. But tuition is just too expensive." Elon interrupted. "I understand. That's why I have a proposal." He pulled out a folder from a small bag his assistant had brought. "I want to sponsor your entire college education. You can choose any school you want, Stanford, MIT, or anywhere else. I'll cover all the costs." Michael's eyes widened, and his mother and sister were equally stunned. The room seemed to freeze for a few seconds. You're serious?" Michael asked, his voice trembling. Elon smiled. "Of course, I'm serious. But that's not all." He gestured toward the window. "I also want to give you a Cybertruck. It'll make getting around easier. And I think someone who loves engineering as much as you do will appreciate it." Michael was speechless. He turned to his mother, and Linda couldn't hold back her tears. "You deserve this, Michael," she whispered. "But Michael stammered, overwhelmed. "I don't even know how to thank you." "You don't need to say anything," Elon replied. "Just use this opportunity to chase your passion and create something meaningful for the world." The next morning, Michael woke up feeling as if he had just experienced a dream. But the Cybertruck parked in the yard and the folder on the table were proof that everything was real. Elon didn't just give Michael the car. He also arranged for him to attend an accelerated driving course. Over the next few weeks, Michael practiced driving daily with the support of a professional instructor hired by Elon's team. For Michael, driving a cutting-edge vehicle like the Cybertruck wasn't just a thrilling new experience. It was a tangible step toward breaking free from the limitations of his past. After receiving an official acceptance letter from Stanford, Michael began preparing to leave home and pursue his dream. Excitement mixed with nervousness made it hard for him to sleep. He knew this was a rare opportunity but also a tremendous responsibility. On his first day at Stanford, Michael stepped onto the sprawling campus with its historic buildings and tree-lined paths. The fresh air and the buzz of student life made him acutely aware that he was in a completely different world. Adjusting to his new environment wasn't easy. His classmates mostly came from wealthy families and had strong academic foundations. But Michael refused to let that discourage him. He spent countless hours in the library, delving into research, and wasn't afraid to ask professors for help whenever he faced challenges. Subjects like applied physics and mechanical engineering quickly became his favorites. Despite his busy schedule, Michael never forgot to write letters home, sharing his new experiences with his mother and sister. One weekend, Michael received an email from Elon Musk's team inviting him to Tesla for a workshop on new technology. Stepping into Tesla's headquarters felt like entering another world. Advanced machines, autonomous robots, and passionate engineers working tirelessly filled him with inspiration. Elon personally guided Michael on a tour of the factory, introducing him to some of Tesla's top engineers. "Would you like to intern here over the summer?" Elon asked. Michael, unable to contain his excitement, nodded enthusiastically. "I'd love to. This is my dream." And so, Michael officially embarked on a journey not only to learn but to create something extraordinary. From a young man fixing old appliances, he now had the chance to work hands-on with technologies that could change the world. Michael's internship at Tesla marked a major turning point in his life. Every day, he worked alongside some of the world's top engineers, witnessed groundbreaking technologies firsthand, and contributed to real-world projects. He could feel his once-distant dreams slowly becoming a reality. One day, Elon called Michael into his office. The spacious room, with its floor-to-ceiling windows offering a panoramic view of the Tesla factory, left Michael awestruck. Yet Elon's voice was warm and approachable. "Michael, I've been hearing great things about you," Elon began, his gaze filled with pride. "You've done exceptionally well during this internship. But I want to ask, do you feel ready to take on bigger challenges?" Michael nodded, his determination evident. "I'm always ready, sir." Elon smiled slightly. "Good. I want you to join a new project we're developing. We're working on an automation system for next-generation vehicles, and I believe your creativity could bring significant value." In the days that followed, Michael didn't just learn, he contributed ideas to the project. Every time he proposed a solution, the engineers were impressed by his unique way of thinking. Despite being an intern, Michael began earning the respect of his colleagues. But it wasn't just the work that helped Michael grow. Back at Stanford, he attended workshops and gave talks on science and engineering. He didn't just want to learn, he wanted to inspire others, especially young students from disadvantaged backgrounds like his own. That summer, Michael decided to return to his hometown, though he was now living a life filled with new opportunities. His heart remained tied to his family and the community where he had grown up. As soon as he arrived, Michael noticed that his neighborhood was still struggling. His old neighbors were working hard just to make ends meet, and the children were studying in underfunded schools with limited resources. Determined to make a difference, Michael launched a project called Green Hope, with the goal of improving the quality of life for his community. His project focused on creating affordable technological solutions, such as compact solar energy systems for households and DIY water filtration devices made from recycled materials. But Michael didn't stop there. He also started offering free technical workshops for children in the area. He taught them how to assemble simple robots and repair old electronic devices. Seeing the excitement in the children's eyes as they created their own projects filled Michael with a deep sense of purpose. His initiative caught the attention of various organizations. Volunteer engineers, including some of his colleagues from Tesla, joined to support his efforts. the small neighborhood began transforming into a hub of innovation, where people not only learned new skills but also inspired one another to dream bigger. When Michael returned to Tesla after the summer break, he received a major announcement. He would lead a team of young engineers to tackle a critical issue in the automation project he had previously worked on. It was an incredible opportunity, but also a significant challenge. The automation system the team was developing had encountered a severe issue. The sensors were not functioning effectively in extreme weather conditions. Michael knew that this not only threatened the project timeline but also served as a major test of his leadership skills. For weeks, Michael and his team worked tirelessly. He drew on his technical knowledge while also learning how to manage and motivate his team. When a colleague felt discouraged, Michael was always there to listen and offer solutions. Finally, through perseverance and innovation, Michael's team discovered a way to optimize the sensor system, making it perform better than anyone had anticipated. The project was completed not only on time but exceeded the expectations of Tesla's leadership. When Elon came to review the results, he couldn't hide his satisfaction. "Michael, I knew I made the right choice," Elon said. "You've proven that you're not only a talented engineer, but also an outstanding leader." After years of dedicated studying and hard work, Michael graduated from Stanford with honors, earning a degree in engineering. On his graduation day, his mother and younger sister Lily were there to witness the momentous occasion. Mrs. Linda couldn't hold back tears of joy as she hugged her son tightly, overwhelmed with pride at all he had achieved. But Michael didn't stop there. He became a key engineer at Tesla, where he continued to work on developing cutting-edge technologies. More importantly, Michael began pursuing his greatest dream: designing and creating products to improve the lives of those in need. His first major innovation was a portable water filtration device, built from affordable materials but incredibly efficient. This device was deployed in impoverished communities worldwide, providing clean water to thousands of people. Michael never forgot that everything he had achieved began with a small act: stopping his bicycle to help a stranger. He started sharing his story in public speeches, encouraging others to always be willing to help. Even with the smallest actions, the community where Michael grew up had now completely transformed. His Green Hope project not only improved the quality of life, but also inspired many young people to dream big and take action. Elon Musk, who had closely followed Michael's journey, once said in an interview, "Michael is not just a great engineer. He is a symbol of the belief that kindness and hard work can change the world." Michael had achieved his dream, but he never stopped moving forward. He continued his journey with the conviction that with kindness and determination, anyone can turn the seemingly impossible into reality.